everybody, my name is Lego Lee and welcome back to my channel for a little bit of a different kind of video today. Today, y'all, we are doing an update of my Lego Star Wars collection. I did one of these videos about 2.5 years ago when the 40th anniversary of Star Wars occurred, and this year it's the 20th anniversary of Lego Star Wars, so I think it's a great time to show you guys an update of my Lego Star Wars collection, including things all the way up to The Mandalorian and Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. So without further ado, let's jump into this collection and look at everything I've got. Now there's a lot to go over, but one thing I want to preface this entire video with saying is this is not every Lego Star Wars set I've ever purchased. When I was much younger, like, you know, when I was actually a child, I would play with my Lego Star Wars sets and they would get destroyed, or I would just destroy them entirely, which I completely regret doing now, but there's at least 100+ Lego Star Wars sets that are in my collection that I own that are completely in pieces and not shown here. Most of the stuff you're going to see in this video is 2010 to the present. However, there are some older sets that I've ordered on eBay, some that I happen to keep in structure. So not everything is the new stuff, but for the most part it is the newer Lego Star Wars stuff. And I have a pretty large amount, even though it's mainly just the past 10 years of Lego Star Wars. The first part of the collection that we're going to start off here is this shelf. This is kind of the strangest shelf of the collection. There are no minifigures on this shelf. This is the Constraction figures / brickheads shelf. So the top shelf here, I have sorted all of these figures. On the top shelf we have the Constraction figures from the prequels and the Clone Wars. So we have Darth Maul, Jango Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Clone Wars, Commander Cody, and of course I think probably the best Constraction figure of them all, General Grievous. And then also pictured are all my Lego Star Wars brickheads. I unfortunately don't have the complete brickheads collection. I am missing the Yoda and Luke 2-pack, also Princess Leia, and the Comic-Con exclusive Han Solo and Carbonite with Boba Fett, but besides that I have all of the brickheads. Continuing on this shelf, the next shelf here is the Constraction figures from the spin-off movies, so that's Solo and Rogue One. Now, for display purposes, I have put the characters that have, like, you know, faces like Han Solo or Rey, or, you know, one of those kind of characters with the creepy doll-like faces. Those ones have kind of been sentenced to the back of the shelf and not nearly as visible, because I think either the armored characters, the aliens, or the droids, those characters tend to lend themselves a lot better to this Bionicle style of figures. So those figures are the ones that are a little bit more prominent on these shelves. So this is all Rogue One and Solo. There's only 2 Solo figures, the Range Trooper and Han Solo himself. And then for Rogue One we have K2SO, Jyn Erso, Chirrut, Baze Malbus, the Shore Trooper, and of course the Death Trooper. So that is that shelf. The middle shelf here is the original trilogy. So you can kind of tell this is all in chronological order going from top to bottom. This is the original trilogy, probably the best shelf of figures for Constraction figures. I absolutely love that Scout Trooper on the speeder bike. That is a fantastic looking figure. Also Boba Fett looks really good. Luke Skywalker is one of the better ones with the creepy doll style face. Also, that Darth Vader is the 2015 version. The only Constraction figure I don't own is the 2018 remake of Darth Vader with the removable helmet. That's the only one I have yet to purchase. I've been waiting to find it on sale and I just haven't found it on sale yet, so hopefully someday I can get that to complete the collection. Besides that, this is every Constraction figure Lego Star Wars has made. Also, technically that Chewbacca is from the new trilogy, but I think he just fit in better with the original trilogy display. Speaking of the new trilogy, their figures are on the bottom shelf here. The front row we have the TIE Fighter pilot, Stormtrooper, Captain Phasma, Kylo Ren, and the Praetorian Guard. In the back we have Finn, Poe, and a couple versions of Rey. These figures aren't quite as cool, but that Praetorian Guard does look pretty awesome. Navigating our way through my Lego Star Wars collection, right here on the wall I have the 2013 poster that came with the Republic gunship set, one of my favorite Lego Star Wars sets, and there are a few posters on my wall of my display, which I really like, but I wish I had a few more because the walls do feel a little bit bare, and now there's so much stuff around them it's kind of hard to hang up anything anything new without just completely destroying my collection. But speaking of posters, on the wall back here, we have the 20th anniversary poster that I think looks really cool. It has some great artwork. I love these images. LEGO did a great job with that poster. And right here, you're looking at my 20th anniversary display. Now, you can see I have the boxes for all these smaller sets from the 20th anniversary. So I usually throw away my boxes for small sets. I keep all my boxes for older sets, for bigger sets, or if the box is something special. And I think these boxes are special. It's one of the best design boxes LEGO has ever done. So I have all of these smaller boxes for those 20th anniversary sets, and right underneath them is my display for 20th anniversary LEGO Star Wars stuff. I have the new Tantive 4 that I'm going to review here very soon for my personal 10th anniversary special review. I also have the microscale Hoth and the microscale Indoor that I reviewed very recently, and then of course I have the 20th anniversary minifigures. And yes, I know I don't have Leia or that Obi-Wan poly bag. I have not gotten the 20th anniversary Slave one yet. It's on my list, I just don't have $120 to spend on a vehicle I have multiples of in my collection. And it's kind of hard to see, but behind there is the Imperial dropship as well. Now below that shelf is my Death Star shelf display. I don't have the big $500 UCS Death Star. I just don't feel like spending that much money on that monstrosity of a set, so I've had to settle for a smaller Death Star display here. That is actually the Rebels Darth Vader's TIE Advance, which is the newest version of that ship in LEGO form. I love that design. And then we have the two new 2019 Death Star playsets, the Trench Run and the Cannon, which I think both look pretty good. I also have the 2014 Battle Pack version of the Cannon, but clearly the highlight here is the 2015 Imperial Death Star Throne Room with Palpatine and Luke. That is a great set. Underneath that is probably the hardest thing to see. This is another shelf that is kind of hidden by the table in front of it, but this is my Hoth display. I had the 2018 Hoth Medical Chamber, the new Snowspeeder for this year, that 2016 Hoth set, and I also have the original 99 Snowspeeder as well. But yeah, I know, it's really hard to see those sets back there. Now, what's blocking those Hoth sets is one of the easily most crowded portions of my collection. That is this table. I wish I had more shelves, but tables are just a lot cheaper. Shelves are a lot more expensive. So this giant table here is full of all of my sets from episodes 2 and 3 with some Clone Wars stuff kind of just mixed in. So you can start to see at the back here, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter with Hyperdrive Ring, which is a really cool set. And speaking of Jedi Starfighters, Anakin's two Clone Wars Jedi Starfighters, the modified version and the yellow version from last year. Two really cool sets. And more Jedi vehicles. I have 3 Jedi Interceptors. I love this vehicle. I kind of hope LEGO continues just to make random colors of this vehicle for the rest of the time, because I love adding more of them to my collection. Speaking of my collection, we have a lot of droid vehicles as well. The Homing Spider droid, the Tank droid, the Hailfire droid, a lot of droid vehicles, but also lots of clone vehicles like the aforementioned Republic gunship, and some Geonosian stuff like the Geonosian Starfighter, which is actually from the Clone Wars, but it fits in with the Episode 2 display. Same goes for the ATTE, and now we're kind of starting to move over into Episode 3. A couple more Episode 2 things. We have the Geonosian Cannon and Count Dooku's speeder bike, but here is the Episode 3 stuff, which is mostly just Kashyyyk vehicles with some droid stuff thrown in, like the droid Tri-Fighter, the new 2019 droid gunship, a couple of the smaller spider droids, the clone turbo tank from 2016, that is the 2014 AT-AP. I don't have the newer version of that because it's very similar and I do not feel like spending $60 on a set I kind of already own, so I just have kept with the older version of that one. We have the 2010 Palpatine shuttle, we have the Vulture droid, we also have General Grievous's wheel bike, that V-Wing set that I just really dislike, some micro fighters, smaller vehicles, battle pack vehicles, you name it. This is a very, very crowded table if you couldn't already tell, but I'm pretty happy with my display for all of these prequel era vehicles. I think it looks pretty awesome. Alright, now we're going to handheld cam, so this might get some Jason Bourne-esque shaky cam here because we have to look at the floor. Now, I think every LEGO Star Wars fan can tell you one of the hardest part about having a big LEGO Star Wars collection is the space. I don't have a lot of space for this stuff, guys, so things end up on the floor. I wish they had a shelf, I wish they had a table, but they don't. They're just on the floor and pretty much equally as crowded as the table that I just showed you guys. The floor here has a lot going on, including all of my episode 1 sets. I really hope to have an actual episode 1 display because I think episode 1 just has some truly fantastic vehicles and scenes from the Star Wars prequel trilogy, but for now, the episode 1 sets are on the floor. So here is the 20th anniversary Anakin's Pod Racer. I really regret I destroyed my old Sebulba's Pod Racer set from 2011. I'm really sad that I destroyed that one, but I was just a dumb kid when I got that set. We have the play set of the final duel from Duel of the Fates from episode 1. Now there are some battle pack vehicles kind of just thrown in throughout here, but here is the 2015 Naboo Starfighter. We have the Gungan Sub from 2012, a really underrated set. That's a great design. The MTT. I wish I had the 2014 MTT, but I'm just going to settle for this, or no, the 2007. I do have the 2014 one. I had to settle for this one because the 2007 one is really expensive online, but that one is clearly better. The Flash Speeder from 2015, also the Droid Carrier, and that pretty ugly MTT. We have the most recent Sith Infiltrator, which if you have seen my package opening video from a few years ago, LEGO sent me that by accident for free, which was pretty awesome. And then some speeder bikes, and then we have the clone tank back there, which is pretty cool. The rest of this stuff here is kind of the non-canonical video games, random assortment thing, Yoda Chronicles, whatever, you name it. And then the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. So stuff from the Old Republic video games right here. Sand Speeder, which is just something LEGO made up. Lots of random made up things like that vehicle from, I think this is from Yoda Chronicles, all the way back there, or stuff from the Freemaker Adventures, like this ship. You name it, there's a lot of weird stuff going on down here. The Clone Cannon, an extra Vulture droid, which I have 2 of those in my collection because I used to army build, but I don't really anymore. And you can see some Clone Wars vehicles thrown in back there as well. We got vehicles like General Grievous's little speeder right there. We also have an extra one of those First Order transporters. I'll show you the episode 7 new trilogy stuff in a second. I should probably move that to a different side. It doesn't really fit in with the rest of this collection. And towards the back here, it's a bit hard to see. The lighting is not good because there's, you know, a table over it, but this is the Rebels shelf. So all the way back here, I have the Ghost, the Phantom, the other Phantom, and we have the Rebel Blockade Runner vehicle right there, the modified ATTE Captain Rexes, some speeder bikes, that Imperial vehicle, the ATDP, and then a bunch of these smaller Rebel vehicles kind of outlined at the bottom of the shelf here, and some microfighters as well. So yes, very crowded, hard to see, but another fantastic addition to my LEGO Star Wars collection. Alright, that's enough handheld cam for the moment, but now let's move into the original trilogy section of this display. Of course, you're looking at the 2018 Master Builder Series Cloud City set. This set is by far the hardest set to display in my LEGO Star Wars collection. It's a very large play set that takes up a ton of room and has lots of different chambers and parts to see, but it doesn't rotate on its own. So I had to come up with my own solution. I purchased on Amazon one of those devices they use for icing cakes that rotates around. I glued a giant 48 by 48 gray base plate to that and then put Cloud City on top of that base plate so it has enough room to sit, which I think came up with a pretty good solution for actually displaying this entire thing. So now you can actually rotate Cloud City around and see all the individual rooms of this monstrosity of a gigantic playset. So I'm pretty happy with this for displaying this massive set. The one thing is I had to add a couple extra pieces down here so this thing didn't hang off too much, but you can see it, guys. I can now show you all of Cloud City, and whenever someone comes over to this room, they can actually rotate around and see all the individual rooms of Cloud City. So I'm pretty happy with how this display turned out. Below Cloud City is my small collection of some sealed stuff that I might sell on eBay in the future, but now let's move on to this table. This table here has a lot of open space, which is basically just me assuming I'm going to buy more LEGO Star Wars sets in the future that will be added to this collection. And yes, I know that Darth Vader transformation just doesn't really fit in with this table because that, of course, is from episode 3 of the prequels, but I love that set. It didn't fit in the other table, so I just threw it in over here. Also, A-Wing. You see the A-Wing right there. Well, I'm trying to complete the LEGO A-Wing collection, so I have a few more A-Wings, the 2006, 2013, and the Juniors one from 2019 right there. So I just need the original one from 2000 and the one from the 2009 Home 1 Mon Calamari Star Cruiser, and I will complete my LEGO A-Wing collection. Here you can see a couple of AT-STs with the brand new version from The Mandalorian, also the one from Rogue One as well. Speaking of Rogue One, we have the U-Wing back there, and it's kind of hard to see, but we also have the Imperial tank as well, and the Imperial shuttle, which does appear in Rogue One, but this version is based off of episode 6. Now I have an entire shelf right here solely dedicated to the Imperial Star Destroyer, plus the microfighters kind of hiding back there. No, I do not own the brand new giant UCS one. I hope to get that set someday, but right now I just do not have $700 to spend on that vehicle. These next few shelves are kind of high up, so it'll be a little bit hard to see, but right here I have my Vader's Castle display with the small version of the TIE Advance. Next to it is Director Krennic's shuttle, which I think is a great set, plus the microfighter version of that vehicle as well. This shelf up here, yes, this is really hard to see, I apologize for this, guys, but we have the X-Wing from 2018, the Y-Wing from 2017, plus some microfighters, and the very top shelf is a couple of TIE fighters, the TIE Fighter from the Solo series of sets, plus the TIE Striker from Rogue One and the microfighter version of that vehicle as well. The shelf adjacent to that shelf is a little bit easier to see, and this is my Tatooine display. We had the 2014 UCS Sandcrawler, which is one of my personal favorite vehicles. I think that is a fantastic set, and I also put the 2015 Skyhopper on top of that. Next to it, of course, is Jabba's Palace plus the Rancor Pit, which is two of my favorite sets ever, with some of the best minifigures LEGO has ever produced. I love that display. And the Tatooine display actually continues on to the shelf right beneath that with Jabba's Sail Barge, the newer Desert Escape from 2017, the newest Droid Escape from 2016, plus the microfighter with the dewback, one of the more recent versions, not the most recent version of the Sand Speeder, I think that's from the 2014 Cantina set, plus the Cantina set and the dewback, so a pretty big Tatooine display in my collection. Underneath that shelf, we have Solo, a Star Wars story represented with the Convex heist scene, all three sets from that scene, the Convex, the speeder bikes, and the AT hauler, which are all really cool sets and make for a nice little display scene. The Solo display continues here with the Kessel Run Millennium Falcon plus the 3 different speeders seen on Corellia in the film. Now, there are 2 more tables here. These tables are completely dedicated to the new trilogy, the sequel trilogy of Star Wars films. Back here, the First Order is representing with the newest addition to my LEGO Star Wars collection, Kylo Ren's command shuttle updated in black, and I absolutely love how you can simply display this vehicle with the wings spread out like that. That looks particularly awesome. We have the small playset of Rey and Kylo Ren dueling on Starkiller Base, and then of course we have the First Order Star Destroyer, which looks really cool, the AT-M6 next to that, and then of course Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter. And in between there are all the dumb little vehicles that LEGO has made for the First Order, including that AT-ST with BB-8 that I hate displaying, but it is an official set, and that snow speeder that appears in The Force Awakens for like 7 seconds. I'm leaving a bit of room on this table to hopefully add some newer sets in the future, but underneath here is some more First Order stuff, the Troop Transporter, the TIE Fighter, plus some Battle Pack vehicles, and one of the newer additions in the Tread Speeder. Besides that, the rest of this table here is dedicated to, of course, the Resistance with the Millennium Falcon. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to be let down. This is the 2015 version of the Millennium Falcon. I have yet to purchase the new updated version because it's $160 and I already have 3 of this vehicle in my collection, so I just don't have a big desire to purchase another one. The rest of this table here is taken up by the Resistance vehicles, which have lots of color, which makes for a nice display and is cool to see. However, there's just a lot of repetition. More A-Wings, more Y-Wings, more X-Wings, bombers, troop transports, speeders. It's not a super original collection of vehicles, but LEGO has done a really good job designing these. And I think easily the best set of all of these is this Resistance bomber from The Last Jedi. Unfortunately, this vehicle was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in Star Wars. In the movie, it moves like 3 miles per hour and they all blow up, which was really disappointing, but it does look cool. And I'm sorry y'all, but the shaky handhold cam is going to return because, yet again, the floor is full of sets. Now, this section of the floor here is kind of unique because in some ways it's like the leftovers. It's the versions of vehicles that are older that I don't like displaying in my collection quite as much, such as the 2012 X-Wing, this absolutely horrible carbon freezing chamber playset from 2016, which doesn't look nearly as good as the one that comes with Cloud City, and of course, the horrendous gray version of Kylo Ren's shuttle. So a lot of the stuff down here is either duplicate vehicles, older versions of vehicles that you already saw in this video, like the Millennium Falcon. However, the rest is playsets. LEGO Star Wars playsets aren't great, and they take up a lot of room. So I had to put a lot of these playsets, like this Rancor escape set, the Scarif set, Takodana, Crate, Geonosis, you name it. A lot of these playsets, unfortunately, are on the floor because I just don't have room for them in the rest of my collection. And if you are wondering, yeah, LEGO Lord of the Rings and the original LEGO movie stuff is behind there. I just don't know where to put those. I don't want to put them in storage because those sets are really valuable to me, but they're kind of just hidden behind my Star Wars collection, which is a bit unfortunate. Now, for those of you who may be wondering where a lot of my minifigures are, here is the answer. This box has over 500 LEGO Star Wars minifigures inside of it. A lot of the figures are with their respective sets in this display. However, if you know LEGO Star Wars sets, you know there's lots of random figures they throw into the sets that can tend to get lost if they're not really, put on a vehicle. So I have taken all of those minifigures and sorted them into their respective films, TV shows, whatever, and put them in plastic bags, which makes for easier display. These are all the figures from the Triple Force Friday wave of sets. This bag here is all prequel era minifigures, so all those minifigures are sorted, which just is easier for me to keep track of them in my collection. So that is all, y'all. That is this giant display of LEGO Star Wars sets. I do have LEGO logo right there and another poster on the wall, which I hadn't shown you, but besides that, there is my big room of LEGO Star Wars sets. What do you think of this collection? I think it's a pretty impressive display, and I am very proud of all that I have collected here. But that's not quite the end of this video. I still have a couple of more rooms to show you guys. Lighting probably isn't great, but right here is the UCS table. Newest addition is, of course, the Porg. We also have BB-8, and unfortunately, I moved him around and his antenna has fallen off. That has been lost. The rest are, of course, some vehicles. You can kind of see my Harry Potter display right there as well, but that's not a part of this video. We have the 2013 X-Wing, 2017 Snowspeeder, 2015 or maybe 14, I can't remember the year, that is Slave 1, the 2012 B-Wing, a very impressive UCS set, one of the more underrated ones, and finally the 2015 TIE Fighter. So that is a big table. That is what, $1,200-ish worth of LEGO Star Wars sets alone. This table is very valuable and I think it looks super cool on display. And finally, y'all, of course, the UCS Millennium Falcon from 2017, the biggest LEGO Star Wars set there is. This is a great set to end this video on. Please guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel, like the video, comment down below with all of your thoughts, and check the description down below. You could like me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, and consider becoming a Patreon supporter of this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.